अस्सलाम वालेकुम स्टूडेंट्स। आज का जो हमारा टॉपिक है 11th क्लास के लिए एंटरप्रेन्योरशिप से हमने लिया है, दैट इज़ रिलेशनशिप बिटवीन माइक्रो एंड मैक्रो एंटरप्राइजेस। लेट मी स्टार्ट गोइंग थ्रू द above definitions and distinct characteristics of micro and macro enterprises. It appears that small and medium enterprises from macro enterprises. However, one should not assume that the both micro and macro enterprises are antithetic to each other. In other words, they both cannot sustain in an economy. Antithetic means opposite. In other words, the both cannot sustain in an economy. It is in fact true the other way round, and to a great extent, one is often ancillary or complementary to the other. The relationship between the micro and macro enterprises cannot be seen in various respects. Yet, the following are the important ones. First one, that is the competitive. Micro enterprises cannot compete with macro enterprises in certain circumstances and in selected products. Examples of such enterprises industries are bricks and tiles, fresh baked goods and perishable edibles, preserved fruits, goods requiring small engineering skills, items demanding craftsmanship and artistry. Second one, that is the supplementary. Micro enterprise can fill in the gaps between large enterprises, large scale production and standard outputs caused by macro enterprises. This is due to this supplementary role of macro enterprises. A small tricycle factory sustained and flourished alongside a large cycle factory in Chennai city. Third one, that is the complementary. Apart from supplementary relationship, micro enterprises has been a complementary to its macro counterparts. In the real world, many micro enterprises produce intermediate products for macro units. Subcontracting the relationship between the micro and macro was particularly marked in the economic history of today's industrially developed Japan. As industrialization proceeds, micro and small size firms seem naturally to shift from activities that compete with macro and large firms to complementary ones. Similarly, China too continues to rely on Mao's aphorism of walk on two legs, one being micro and the other macro. Under complementary relationship, micro units function under the tutelage of the macro units and enjoy the advantage of protected market for their products. Tutelage means help, advice. then the flourishment of such micro units remains beyond doubt. Fourth one, that is the initiative. Attracted by the high profits of macro units, micro units can also take initiative to produce the particular product. If succeeds, the micro unit grows to macro over a period of time. Evidences are available to quote that many of the automobile factories started this way in the United States of America, in our country, to the electronic industry looks like following to this initiative pattern of development. Last one, that is the servicing. Micro enterprises do also install servicing and repairing shops for the products of macro units. In the case of India, such micro servicing units can be seen proliferating in respect of macro industries like refrigerators, radio and television sets, watches and clocks, cycles and motor vehicles. Now we go for scope of micro enterprises. In fact, the scope for micro enterprises is quite vast, covering a wide range of activities requiring less sophisticated technology in consonance with its distinct characteristics. The activities which are found particularly amenable to and can be successfully operated in small scale are too many to mention. Among them, the important ones are manufacturing activities, servicing, repairing activities, retailing activities, financial activities, wholesale business, construction activities, infrastructure activities like transportation, communication, and other public utilities. In order to strengthen the scope for micro enterprise development in the country, the Government of India has, along with its other assistance programs, announced its reservation policy for small sector mainly consisting of micro enterprises in the country. The reservation policy was initiated in 1967 when only 47 items were reserved for exclusive manufacture in the small scale sector. By 1983, the reserve list included 836 items for exclusive production in the small scale sector. Recently, the Abid Hussain Committee uh, served 12 items, served 12 items, and thus there are still 224 items reserved for exclusive production in small sector. The main objective of the reservation policy has been to insulate the small sector or say micro enterprises from unequal competition of large industrial establishments so that the sector can grow through expansion of existing units and the entry of new firms. The important industries reserved for exclusive development in small sector are food and allied industries, textile products, leather and leather products, including footwears, rubber products, plastic products, chemical and chemical products, natural essential oils, organic chemicals and chemical products, glass and ceramics, mechanical engineering, transport equipment, metal cabinets of all types, pressure stove, electrical appliances, electronic equipments and components, boats and truck body buildings, auto parts components, ancillary and garage equipment, bicycle parts, tricycles and perambulators, miscellaneous transport equipments, mathematical and survey instruments, supports goods, stationery items, clocks and watches, etc. Here it seems pertinent to mention that the performance of reserved small industries does not outshine that of non-reserved small industries. Researchers attribute the poor performance of financially assisted units as well as those in the reserved industries to easy entry into the SSI sector, which has intensified competition within the sector and resulted in excess supply and thus a fall in profitability. They hold the view that the reservation policy is calculated to keep infant industries in a permanent state of infancy. However, one may not find himself or herself in agreement with other. In fact, the noble intention of the reservation policy has been to insulate that small sector micro enterprises from unequal competition of powerful large scale industrial units, macro enterprises, so that the small sector micro enterprises can go through expansion of existing units on the one hand and by the entry of new firms on the other. Examples are galore to support the view. Thanks.